Hey guys, welcome back. So this week's theme is going to be steal like an artist. Okay, artists steal stuff from each other all the time, and honestly, it's the best way to practice. Any professor, any art teacher will tell you pretty much all the tutorials, any demonstrations, any practice they do is usually looking at somebody else's stuff and just seeing if you can recreate it. It helps if you make it into your own style. So today I'm going to be stealing Vincent van Gogh. His birthday is today. And so I'm going to use his portrait, one of his many portraits, to be able to draw and practice my portraiture. And then I'm going to play with it and make it my own. So we'll see what I come up with. You can go ahead and watch. Follow along, and I'm going to be looking back and forth because it's up on my computer screen, but right here is where I'm working. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sketch out Mr. Van Gogh. So let's see, this is kind of tricky from far away, but I'm going to start really sketchy as usual. We kind of talk about creating those planes. He's got some obvious planes with his face. And there's kind of where his neck is going to fall. There's kind of his shirt. All right, there's the start. Here's where his eyes are going to be, which should be able to help me find his ear. It's when he still had that ear. You guys know the story of how he lost his ear, cut it off himself in a fit of rage. Poor man. Rough life. Honestly, probably a really nice guy based on the stories I've heard. I would definitely want to be his friend. I actually used to not really like Van Gogh because I just thought everybody likes him. Why would I like him? It's too obvious. And then I really started to look into him. And here's my eye. It's pretty sketchy, guys. Here's kind of this cheekbone that's hanging out over here. I started to look into him just in general after I first saw one of his pieces in person in college. And I realized how freaking cool he is. Really misunderstood, which I appreciate, like a good story like that. Here's kind of where his hair's gonna fall. Not that much hairspray, just falling into like his temples. Notice it's super sketchy right now. That is totally okay. His hair goes like down his neck. Yeah, so he's just really misunderstood. Probably dealt with a few different disorders we found out, which explains like some of the crazy stories. It was like a high and a low because he wasn't medicated. He wasn't, there was no therapy. There was not even a diagnosis. He was just known for being kind of crazy. But in reality today, he probably would be fairly normal, dare I say it, and still the genius that he is coming up with these color changes. He completely changed how we look at art in general. So I'm going to start with just this really, really, really super sketchy look because I'm really not trying to get anything crazy with this, guys. I just want you to spend some time creating art. If you want to make it more realistic, you can. Van Gogh is not realistic though. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a pen because I want to play with some different media. Use whatever you have at home. You can just use a pencil the whole time, but I want to play around a little bit. So I'm going to take a pen, and I kind of like doing like some like sketchiness. I always end up starting with the eyes, which I think is pretty normal, strictly because that's where we look. And I'm just kind of blocking in some of what's happening and creating my own version. He's really wispy. I'm not checking my angles just because of where my camera placement is. And I'm not able to print this off because I don't have a printer at home. Also, none of the printers work at school anyway, so what's the difference, right? But if I could, I would print this off and I would use it next to this to be able to reference and make sure that my angles are right. But I'm just gonna trust the angles are okay. Poor guy's got sad eyes. Yeah, so I feel like the more I read about Van Gogh, and there is quite a bit of documentation because he wrote letters to his brother Theo all the time, every day. And his brother like kind of took care of him. I'm gonna darken up some little areas. I'm gonna use my hatching. And so because of that, we know a lot about him, which is pretty unheard of considering he was never famous. He never sold a single painting while he was alive. So I'm kind of going with this hair. So the fact that we know as much as we do is really wild and exciting. And so that kind of gives us a glimpse into his personality, which is how I've fallen in love with Van Gogh, is this crazy personality of like, it feels like he was always trying to help people. He just didn't necessarily have the means, like financially, or the stability. I can see that angle's off, but that's okay. To be able to actually follow through with a lot of that. And so some crazy things he used to do. They say he used to like eat paint, which is very possible because he was also known for spending all of his money that Theo would send him on paints. And then what else was he known for? And that could explain like some hallucinations and things as well. There he is. Looking good, birthday boy. Happy birthday, Vincent. This is your drawing, so you can do whatever you want. I just want to see you drawing every day. And so this is what I'm doing. Do your own. Choose any artist you want to use. You can use a Van Gogh. I prefer you not to use the one that I'm using here. But okay, so I went ahead and sketched it out. I went ahead and did some pen situation. I'm going to erase because I'm going to add some color to this and have some fun with it. So there's like my main sketch. Then I think I'm going to take a Sharpie and just, I like kind of just going in and darkening areas because I really like having that contrast there. And so I think that's important for pieces of art, is to have like really darks and really lights. And so by having like a few different markers or pens worked in there, it'll allow me to really like give the eye some depth like I'm doing right now. Or just create some different lines that you wouldn't have otherwise. And create some contrast. That's what I want. I want some contrast. So I'm just I'm paying attention to the shadows, mainly on the side. So that's where most of my darker lines are going. Some shadow in here. I can't really see that part. But That's actually really light underneath this neck, which is kind of weird because you would think there'd be like a shadow in there, but I don't really see one, so I'm not gonna draw one. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do for him. Now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add some color because he was known for color and because I have it at home. You do not need to do this. These are actually watercolors that I bought for my daughter, but why not? Use whatever you have and just make it your own. Have fun with this, okay? My expectation is that you're spending at least an hour on each sketch. So I'm going to clean out my tray so I can make some new colors. And I'm gonna try and recreate some of the colors I see in here. There you go. Just kind of the space. Oh yeah. So some of the pen is kind of interacting with my color, my watercolor, and I kind of like that. Happy accident, as Bobby would say. Referencing a lot of artists today. It's not Bob's birthday, but we're still gonna reference him because he's pretty awesome. So I'm just adding some color here and there. And I'm gonna get some of that hair. So he's got like some yellowy, orangey tints. Put that in here. Yeah, so I kind of keep going back and forth, but really misunderstood and really just wanted friends is kind of what I gather from reading a lot of his letters and reading, there's a book called Dear Theo, Letters from Vincent, and it's really interesting, and it's basically a story that they put together based on a bunch of letters that Vincent had sent, and so kind of outlining what his life looked like. Yeah, sad, but also really sweet. I am gonna add a little water in his eyes because they're not white. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make this. This is like a vibrant beard. His beard is like intense. Like super red. Maybe that's why I like him too, is because he's a redhead. I don't know. It's possible. Back here a little bit. His ear I totally missed when I was adding that color earlier. So now a little color. I don't want to do color on the shirt necessarily, so I'm just going to kind of use some water to kind of fade it out a little bit. Okay, then he uses all kinds of different strokes in the background, so I'm going to start by just kind of adding some. And then I'm going to add maybe a little bit of greens. And what I'm going to do, got some yellows, just kind of that faded yellow. And so once I have this color on here, I'm just going to take a different clean brush and I'm just going to kind of wash it all together. So it's just kind of a wash. Kind of like I'm trying to sell art. It's just a wash. Poor guy. But now stuff is like crazy expensive. And he's one of the most celebrated artists in the world. So who knows? Even if you're having a rough time, it may still work out for you. Kind of crazy. Kind of fun. This is like a very quick one. What I would do is I would let this dry and probably add a few more little details and things on here, but I kind of like the wash in my own version for good old Vincent. I want you to play around, choose an artist that you love, and make it your own style. Use it as your inspiration and try and recreate it in some way. Have fun with it.